The year is 2009. I'm in school, still devoid of consciousness. Some kid asks me if I saw the new Avatar. I look at him with the most soulless stare to ever grace the universe. What is this guy talking about? Who is this NPC? Why are they coming after me? To this day, the highest grossing film ever is still Avatar, grossing roughly $3 billion at the box office. Released in 2009, people remember what it kind of was, but almost no one can tell you the specific plot. Directed by James Cameron, known for his work on Terminator and Titanic, Avatar was truly special for its time due to its advancements in 3D technology and usage of CGI for creating the futuristic atmosphere and native lands of Pandora. The plot of Avatar revolves around Jake Sully, a disabled former Marine who is given the opportunity to travel to the distant world of Pandora. He is given a genetically engineered body known as an avatar to take the place of his deceased twin brother in an effort to facilitate negotiations between the humans and the indigenous Na'vi people. As the story progresses, Jake's loyalty to his own species is tested by his newfound respect for the Na'vi, leading him to eventually join forces with the Na'vi to save their land from destruction. With the help of his newfound friends and the powerful forces of nature, Jake leads the Na'vi in a heroic battle against the humans to protect their home.
Are you a sheep? Do you find yourself parroting 63 IQ Redditor opinions? Do you find yourself basing your personality off of online movie reviews and Wikipedia plot summaries? Do you think things that sound corny make them deep and on point? Do you overanalyze children's books? Do you lack a loved one or significant other in your life? If so, you've come to the right place. The Definitive Opinion seeks to make irrefutable declarations on the stories and characters you hold dear to your heart.
With all that being said, recently the sequel that no one asked for came out with Cameron wanting to chase that bag and collect another W. However, Avatar: The Way of Water makes no sense as nothing more than a jumbled mess of a sequel to an already questionable franchise. However, I'd like to preface this video by admitting that the movie was wildly entertaining with really cool graphics, making it a worthwhile watch regardless. Firstly, everyone can admit the CGI was amazing, all the models looked great, and the animation was super impressive. That is, until I noticed the lag. I don't know if it was my specific theater or just my desire for hatred, but I literally couldn't help but notice the models lagging in the second half of the movie. It felt so dumb watching the movie after that, and I couldn't really take it seriously at a certain point. Other than that, it was a great and definitely the highlight of this movie, and alone makes it worth watching. On to the actual plot. Right when the movie begins, you're thrusted right back into the action as if the first movie is still clear in your memory. It's almost like these guys are delusional enough to think anyone watched the first movie for the plot and anything except for the CGI. I literally forgot how this stuff worked and spent the first couple minutes confused about who the protagonist was. Anyway, they pretty much just shove a bunch of random stuff down your throat in the first 5 minutes, with most characters imitating Eminem's Rap God, trying to bring everyone up to speed. Like seriously, it's a 3 hour long movie. How is this the best they can do? Also, Jake and his wife have half-bred kids now, and I don't even want to know how that works. Should have been me. We'll get more into the plot later and why it is not only hard to follow, but also just not a very engaging plot.
Let's talk about the characters. These characters, man. Probably has to be some of the worst dialogue I've ever witnessed in a movie. It felt like the script was written by a self-learning AI that learned to write movie dialogue after browsing millions of TikTok comments. It was absolutely horrendous. To give you an idea, imagine these guys, who live on a completely different planet, saying stuff like bro and lit to each other. It made me want to rip my ears off. I genuinely want to meet the person who wrote this dialogue, as they've definitely never interacted with another human being, and I'm very interested to see what they could possibly look like. Also, I could not tell the two brothers apart for the life of me. Like, if you're going to give them such a similar appearance, at least make their personalities obviously contrasting. This is accomplished later on in the movie, but for the first half I was completely lost in telling these two apart. Didn't help that they were both NPCs with such weird personalities. Also, their story was super basic. That doesn't necessarily make it bad, but it was so bland and plain boring. The summary is pretty much that the younger brother has an inferiority complex towards the older brother, and tensions ensue. Like, that's pretty much every sibling relationship in every movie I've ever watched. And again, that doesn't make it bad, but they didn't add anything to it. It was not interesting in any way whatsoever. Also, slight spoiler, so feel free to skip to this part of the video to the timestamp shown on screen if you haven't already seen the movie. But when the older brother dies at the end, I literally felt nothing. I was not connected to this character at all, and I just stared blankly at the screen when it was revealed. Next up, we have Kiri, who's the daughter of Grace Augustine, some scientist from the first movie, and Kiri is one of the weirdest characters I've ever had to watch. Once again, they expect everyone to know the context to who she is, and even go as far as putting some emotional scenes in the movie, hoping to draw some sort of sympathy for the character. Maybe this would work if I had any clue of any of what they were showing on the screen. It just made me even more pissed off, and I ended up hating the character even more. Also, she just gets these random powers in the second half of the movie that, unless I'm an actual idiot, were just never explained. And even if they were, it was clearly not a good one, as I was completely dumbfounded with every scene she was in. The chief of the Water Clan was also such a weird character. I swear this guy lacked a ballsack, because he pretty much never made an actual decision, even though he was the chief of the clan. He was always persuaded into doing something else by either his wife or some random Navi, so he was pretty much just a so-called free thinker. It just made no sense, and this character served such little purpose. It pretty much built very minimal tension, which it should have caused a lot of since he's the chief that Jake is seeking refuge with, and he was just a complete waste of a character in my opinion. Please, bro, I don't even want to mention this guy. One of the weirdest things I've ever had to watch on the big screen. Finally, Jake Sully. Look at this face. Take a good look. This is the biggest goof and simp you'll ever see in your life. Imagine, in real life, Earth started collapsing. Our resources were depleted and we were in dire need of more. Therefore, we must travel to another planet full of aliens that we couldn't care less about and try to harvest their resources in order to preserve our species. Then, all of a sudden, one of our soldiers sells out for some alien nussy, effectively dooming all of humanity. All for some alien coochie. Don't get me wrong, he's just like me, and I would definitely do the same thing if it came down to it. But everyone on Earth would understandably despise my existence. Therefore, I'd like to know why on earth I'm supposed to root for this guy. Not only did he sell out our whole race for some booty, but he is also continuing to protect that alien race and betray his actual race? Like, okay, we can hate the Marines and stuff that just come to the planet and completely destroy everything. But think about the average Joe Schmoes on planet Earth just trying to live an honest life, and how Jake Sully is effectively dooming them all. Not such a great motive now. To be honest, I was rooting for the Marines the whole entire time, and was hoping they'd get a kill streak on the Na'vi and save Earth. Although, for a Zoe Saldana Na'vi, I understand why Jake did what he did. There must be something about them we don't know that makes Jake Sully want it that bad. Bro's just like me. Before we end the video, we'd just like to take this opportunity to thank everyone that supported us on our last two videos. We love reading all the comments, and the likes really kept us motivated to make these videos for you guys. We are currently working on a much bigger project. It's going to be a bit more of a serious one, and we hope you guys really enjoy that. So thank you so much, and please subscribe if you haven't already, and consider liking the video.
In conclusion, although the movie was definitely not Oscar-worthy, and you're probably better off stepping into the Puss in Boots showing instead, the CGI alone and the nostalgia factor makes this movie worth watching. Some of the sequences were just so beautiful and immersive that I cannot recommend it enough for you. Also, the most important part is the entertainment it provides, and I would be lying if I said I was not entertained. Even the corny dialogue was somewhat entertaining. So I really recommend you give this movie a watch, as I feel like almost anyone can enjoy it. It's probably not a movie you'll remember for the rest of your life, but it definitely is a fun and interesting experience.